I have been honored with the awesome privilege of introducing Lord Paul Boateng. If any of you have done an internet search on Lord Boateng, you already know of his stellar achievements. He has many firsts in his credentials as a person of African descent. Among the first, elected to the Greater London Council, which is comparable to our Metro Council, except much bigger. Among the first people of African descent elected to the House of Commons in Parliament, which is somewhat equivalent to our House of Representatives. He was the first ethnic minority to be appointed to a cabinet-level position in the British government, and he was the first Black Briton chosen to be an ambassador for Great Britain, as he was appointed High Commissioner to South Africa, which is a term used for ambassadors to former British colonies. Now he is a distinguished and noble member of the House of Lords in Parliament, which is a bit akin to our U.S. Senate. He holds honorary Doctor of Law degrees from his alma mater, the University of Bristol, and from Lincoln University in Pennsylvania. He may hold others. Those are the ones I found. But today I want to share with you some details about the human side of Paul Boateng, the man who struggled and overcame adversity, a man of courage who took unpopular stands and who helped transform the assumptions, the norms, and the laws of his society. Paul Boateng was born in London in 1951 to devout Christian parents who were very different parents. His father, Kwaku Boateng, was from Ghana. For those who are geographically challenged, that is in the center, sort of in the center of Africa on the western coast. His father was a political activist who felt called to fight for justice in the world and to help lead his newly independent nation to a stable constitutional republic. His father also established the first Bible Society of Ghana, and later in his life, his father became a Pentecostal evangelist. This is a Pentecostal church. His mother, Eleanor Maccombie, was a school teacher from Scotland, and she was a Quaker. She took seriously the words of Jesus, who said that his true followers would feed the hungry, clothe the naked, give drink to the thirsty, and take care of the sick, the stranger, and the prisoner. She was the moral compass of the family, and she had the greatest impact in shaping the values and faith of her son. When you look at Lord Boateng's life and career, you see how these two sides from his parents have come together. He has tirelessly worked for social and economic justice, and at the same time, he has been a peacemaker who works hard through negotiation and compromise to move people forward. Now, Lord Boateng will tell you about his early life in Ghana and how that good life came to an end when there was a military coup, and how the police raided his home, took away all of his valuables, the family valuables, and hauled his father off to prison. After his father was jailed, his mother, his younger sister, and the teenage Paul had to flee back to London, and they had nothing. They were very poor, and they lived in government-assisted housing, what we call the projects. And whereas most people would despair over losing their home, their status, their family, their friends, the young Paul knew that his life had a greater purpose. He had a vision. He also knew, undoubtedly thanks to his parents, that education is the key to a better future. He soon earned the respect of his teachers as he excelled in all of his studies, and particularly in oratory, drama, and debate. He got his degree in law from the University of Bristol, and he began his legal career as a solicitor and later retrained also as a barrister, who is an attorney who can litigate before the courts. For over 30 years, he has been happily married to his wife, Janet, and they were blessed with 5 children and 2 grandchildren. Now, Paul Boateng knows well the struggles of a young professional trying to juggle the demands of family and career. One of the humorous anecdotes told about him is that you would often see Paul rushing off to city council meetings with one child under one arm and a stack of legal documents under the other. Now, let me warn you about something. In his early career, in his fight for justice, Paul was labeled with some names that were not very nice, names that would make us cringe, and names that would be the death knell of any politician. He was called a radical. Now, let me share with you a few of the radical notions that Paul Boateng espoused. While on the Greater London Council, he chaired the police committee, and he had the audacity to insist that women who were victims of domestic violence should receive police protection. At that time, the norm of the police was to turn a blind eye when women were being beaten by their husbands or boyfriends because it was only a private domestic dispute. But Paul Boateng knew that violence is violence and that the laws of assault and battery should be enforced equally across the board. Yes, we could applaud for that. Another radical stand that Paul Boateng took was to change the then current stop and seizure laws. They were called the sus laws because the law said that if a policeman merely suspicioned that something was wrong with you, not that you were doing anything wrong, but if you just looked suspicious, the police could stop and search you. Now, having studied constitutional principles, he felt that that was not right. And undoubtedly, his experience with having the police raid his home helped contribute to that point of view. Today, of course, this is a mainstream principle. In America, it's our Fourth Amendment. It is the stuff of our Bill of Rights that citizens should be protected from unreasonable search and seizure. During his tenure in Parliament and also as a cabinet member, he also worked to end rules that forbade transracial adoptions. This was highly controversial. Even many black social workers felt that black children should be placed only with black parents. Now, I'm going to guess that no doubt because of Lord Boateng's own biracial heritage, he understood that the most important thing was that abandoned and neglected children be placed in a loving, stable home, regardless of the race of their parents. Today, history has vindicated Paul Boateng, and his stands are considered mainstream, taken for granted. But let's not forget Paul Boateng's Quaker side from his mother. He is a peacemaker and a bridge builder. He has worked and continually works behind the scenes to build bridges of understanding and cooperation across economic, racial, and political divides. Am I missing a joke? Oh, bridges, yes. Well, too bad we didn't have him here earlier, yes. Metaphorical bridges. And maybe he could help us with some iron bridges, too. While he was a cabinet minister, he worked and helped ease he worked with the World Banks to help ease the debt burden on many third world developing countries. And at the same time, he worked and continues to work to help teach leaders how to build democracies, how to strengthen their economic infrastructure in a global market, and how to capitalize on their own resources. While serving as High Commissioner to South Africa, he tackled many sticky, seemingly impossible problems that other folks avoided because they didn't want to sully their hands with failure. For instance, he brought warring factions in Zimbabwe together to begin to talk and think about following a peaceful solution and reducing and ending violence. The low probability of success did not deter Paul Boateng from trying to make the world a better place. Today, he is co-chair of the African Intellectual Property Trust, and he is working to help teach African countries how to assert their trademark rights and how to better utilize and capitalize on their own resources. For instance, by asserting trademarks for specific regions that have unique resources, such as Sidamo coffee from Ethiopia, he and others working together have already helped increase revenue to Ethiopian farmers by over $100 million
she's really
a
done her
year.
homework.
President Dwight D. Eisenhower said that the qualities of a great man are vision, integrity, courage, understanding, the power of articulation, and profundity of character. These words accurately describe Paul Boateng. Please join me now in welcoming to the podium this great man, Lord Paul Yaw Boateng.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you, dear Barbara. Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind. Thank you.